Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Charleston Online Community College Leadership Interview Series. I'm Dr. Tony Edwards. I'm the Director of Charlton Online, and I am joined today by Dr. Carlos Morales, and he's the founding president of TCC Connect. It's a member of the Tarrant County College Districts. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Morales.
Good morning, Dr. Edwards. It is good to see you again in action, so happy to be here.
Thank you. It's good to see you as well. So tell me a little bit about your institution, your campus, and kind of where it fits in the district.
Sure. My campus is called TCC Connect campus, and it is the online campus of Tarrant County College District. We are the sixth campus, the youngest one. It is 8, maybe 9 years old. We started from the ground up, if you will, through an administrative unit and working all the way up to secure SACS accreditation and the campus designation since 2015. So I came in 2013. We are fully online or predominantly online at a 99%, and then we have an accelerated weekend college for adults that wants to return to college. So in a nutshell, that is the campus that I provide leadership and help the students attain higher education.
So tell me a little bit more about, you talked about online courses at a community college. So is this kind of like your general education core types of courses? Tell me a little bit about kind of how this works.
Yes, the campus is a full campus. So we have not only the e-learning courses or the online courses, and that is over 300 individual courses that we deliver to students, but we also have fully online programs. And at the moment, we have 37 programs fully online. And I say fully online because the design of the campus is for the student not to set foot on campus. You can always come, but the facilities that we have developed are not necessarily your traditional set of facilities with, large lobbies, large waiting areas, simply because we transact digitally. So in that aspect, it is aimed at the complete non-traditional student that requires that flexibility that I guess only online can provide.
So tell me a little bit about your role as president there at TCC Connect, and kind of what are some of the areas that you manage, and what are some of your major priorities?
Yes, in terms of my role as campus president, I provide the leadership, the vision, certainly the strategy for the offerings to go and move forward. Certainly, this is part of a collaborative effort with my team. I am lucky and blessed to have a team that is high performing, but at the same time they are already in the gist of distance learning and instructional technology and online learning and accelerated. So all that aspect many times make things go a little faster because you don't need to convince too many people about what we do. That's pretty much the main element. I bring that strategy also to the college in general, as we are complementors, if that's a correct term here, of what the entire district does. So you have 5 physical campuses doing face-to-face classes in a very traditional way, but then there is a clientele out there in the immediacy and within the entire county that has expressed a preference to come to college online. So it is my role to satisfy that preference and address the needs of those populations that have expressed that.
So what does that look like from an enrollment standpoint? Where's, I guess, your TCC Connect campus enrollment, and how does that compare to like maybe the demand that you get from the other campuses?
Yes, the online campus. Well, let me back up a little bit. We have been, as a campus, we have been very large since day one. Okay, and it's simply because of the design. When I came here, the role was to create a campus by centralization of distance education. It was dispersed through the physical campuses, but it was not mainstream, right? So the chancellor at the time wanted me to centralize it, give it direction, put students first, make sure that students were graduating in that modality, because we had courses but not programs, right? And people were accumulating courses in the modality but not necessarily graduating. So in that aspect, when I came, we quickly made available a number of programs. If I'm not mistaken, we started with 18 programs back in 14, 15. And also that is needed for the accrediting agency. But since day one, we had 15,000 students, okay? Because again of this decentralization. As you fast forward through time, we are responsible for approximately 20% of the enrollments in the district. The district has, at this moment, 43,000, if I'm not mistaken, students. So when you start slicing and dicing that, we are approximately 20% of that, which translates a headcount is about, this semester of spring, it was almost 15,000 students, and a headcount that makes it about 28, 29,000 students. So we are pretty large, and it's a significant endeavor. And again, I alluded to preferences, and that is what we are seeing more and more happening for students. So yes, we are very, very fast in growth, and we have been able to retain and preserve much of our enrollment, in this case, that comes through online and weekend college.
And that is very interesting, given that most institutions of higher ed in the pandemic saw enrollment declines. It sounds like because you were already sort of set up for this format, you've been able to kind of weather the storm, so to speak.
Yes, and as you said, this has been a work in process. We have been building the different components that make us resilient or attractive, or being able to pivot at a faster rate than any other institution or any other type of delivery. And that is a testament of the work of the team, certainly the support of the chancellor and the board, in terms of, we propose, we see the data, and here is the plan, and yeah, go ahead and start implementing some of those things. But yeah, we have been instrumental in helping. If we rewind a little bit to the heyday of the pandemic, many of the activities that were designed for the campus, and again, fully online, no transaction face-to-face, and mostly asynchronous transactions, those were made available to the college. Online advising, online courses, peer developed courses, faculty training, all those type of things were in existence. But again, because of the way face-to-face occurs, people are honing on those practices. These were made available in light of assisting people keep their sanity, and we continue to support students.
So speaking of student support, I know you have a team that kind of manages this, but what is your approach to student support, and what does that look like in an online context?
Yes, we as an online campus, we have that responsibility of providing student support. One additional item that is important to mention, Anthony, is the fact that we are centralized in policy. Okay, so in TCC policy, we are the only campus that can deliver online courses. We are the only campus that have a remote faculty, and we are the campus that is responsible for training faculty that teach online, right? So with that said, we have a role of making sure that the quality of the service, the quality of the approach we have put in practice is top notch. For student services, we have online advising, and again, I say online with an emphasis that is truly online, is asynchronous, and it's also synchronous, and it happens via chat, via email, via phone. Okay, there is success coaches that accompany the students in their journey. We have a multicultural center that occurs online, and we are, I think, up to this moment, we are still the first virtual chapter of Phi Theta Kappa, which is an honor society in community college. So we have some clubs for students to join as well, and all that allows the student to see community and benefit from community. As you know, from the practice, Anthony, distance learning is equivalent to independent study, right? And you need, at times, call it the handholding, you need guidance, you need to see and connect with others, and all that we are helping the students see and make use of.
Excellent, excellent. So you mentioned also instruction and making sure that faculty are prepared to teach online. Also, I know there's curriculum issues and making sure that curriculum is consistent across, different instructors. How do you all, as an institution, do that?
Yes, well, in terms of the faculty, is the largest asset, right? For us, is the human capital, and at the college, and of course, these things are initiated by us. Faculty is required to be certified before they teach online, right? Be at the full-time level or at the call it part-time level, or as an overload type of a transaction, right? And simply because we want faculty to operate at their optimal level, right? There is the technology component for the learning management system. There is the element of the online pedagogy, right? We don't worry much about the subject matter expertise, because that has been already proven. The person has that experience, has been in the classroom, maybe has been in online in other institutions, but we want to make sure that the person is cognizant of all those elements. And very, very important, we have developed or increased the emphasis on a regular and substantive instruction, which is abbreviated at RSI. And again, this is part of the presence, right? We want to make sure that the faculty member is present and engaged with the student, because the last thing you want is a course that is online, but that is kind of behaving as a correspondent, right? I mean,
right.
and is very passive in the activities, because we know by research that students learn the same or better online. There's no significant difference in that aspect. So faculty is trained, but also faculty is supported, right? We have a group of instructional designers that are the consultants that work with faculty to review courses, create courses, help them translate, if I can use that term, an activity that maybe a faculty member used to use or do in face-to-face, and the person wants to do it now in online, and sometimes they don't transfer it on a one-to-one, right? So you need the instructional designer as the person that can give you that strategy, right, to make it the best way possible for you to convey that message. There is also an element of quality assurance that we maximize with the use of a group that we call e-faculty coaches. And they are, as the word implies, coaches, right? They are next to faculty in the endeavor of teaching. Is somewhat observation, right? And what that does is we collect data that then is sent back to the faculty member, right? And is sent back to administration here that allow us to improve that aspect. It also includes a component that I believe this year is the first time we are doing that, which allows that faculty coach to detect the need for training, right? So the classic example, if you will, even when I said, regular and substantive interaction, if there is something that is happening in the classroom, like, I don't know, maybe, an unusual delay in returning activities graded, et cetera, right? If that is detected by the coach in the faculty that the person has been assigned to observe, right? That coach can develop just-in-time training to help the faculty member address that particular issue. And maybe the example I gave, is kind of common, but that could lead to additional training, right? And that information goes to a data team that we implemented this year for the first time, and they have been very, very active in trying to, decipher and try to do some forensics of how we arrive to the numbers we arrive, right? And how the initiative that we have put in place are resulting in those benefits. So the faculty is a big asset. We keep them appraised, we keep them trained all the times, because that's the first line of interaction with students.
Well, and I think, we talk a lot about, community college leadership, and sometimes it's easy to get, bogged down in finance or, strategic planning, but instructional leadership is a huge part of leadership. And so I'm glad to see your focus there. Can you tell me a little bit about your path to the presidency?
Well, I come from a faculty background. Okay, so by my background is in science teaching. I have taught biology, microbiology, AMP, environmental science. That's the base, if you will.
We have
This
that in
is the
common. So we have, that's one of our points of connection.
connection, the commonalities here. Yes, yes, and this is the only job that I have had all my life, right? Meaning in higher education, teaching, and all that. So I guess in 2001, I switched a little bit focus from the classroom with students and towards, that action towards degrees, to the classroom with faculty and teaching them and helping them adopt instructional technology. Okay, and it is equally rewarding, and the aha moment is the same, right? Maybe more at times in one group or the other, but the element that there is an aha moment is fantastic. Then and I was instructional designer. So from faculty, I went to instructional designer. I led a center, incubator of ideas, all the new gadgets. People just come in very thirsty on the learning and incorporating that. I did that for 7 years. Then I moved to another position as a executive director of eCampus/academic technology. And in that case, like in the first, I was building. Okay, so the one in instructional design, I was building a center and building momentum and conditions for people to adopt this way of teaching. And then at the director level, I was also building, but in this case, building an operation that maximized e-learning. I did that for 3 years, then went back to Puerto Rico. I am born and raised in Puerto Rico. So I went back to Puerto Rico and I was hired as vice chancellor of academic affairs at a online institution, part of the Ana Jimenez University system. It's called the Virtual University back in the day, if you will. And the university already received the authorization from the state, but we were seeking the authorization from middle states, the accrediting agency. So I was brought in to help bring that element forward to create the programs. And of course, to put it in motion. And it was at the graduate level. Since then, it has evolved and has more degrees, undergrad up to doctoral level. And while I was doing that, a friend of mine, pointed to this job ad, and I applied, and they they interviewed me and offered me the position to build TCC Connect campus pretty much from the ground up. So that's kind of the path. But in between, I took advantage of leadership training, and I took 2. Okay, one of them it was called the Fry Leadership Institute. Okay, it's now called the Leading Change Institute, and it's affiliated with EDUCAUSE. So it's CLIR, CLIR, and then EDUCAUSE. Between the two, they put together that leadership symposium, if you will, that provides people with the strategies and the thinking for them to see if they are, eager to pursue a leadership role at that moment in information technology / instructional technology. Okay, you would say that the strategies are the same, data, information, relationships, working with stakeholders, making sure that all the elements are aligned, planning. Okay, not knowing that I was going to end on this particular one. I was aiming at senior level in in academic technology, right? And again, went to Puerto Rico, Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, and during that stint, I attended the ASCU, American Association of State and Colleges and Universities, Millennium Leadership Institute. And that is the one that prepares individuals for presidencies. And there is a focus on minorities. So, you know, I was part of that. And that one is more direct, right? Vice president or presidency is the goal. So in a nutshell, that is the path. I mean, that's 20 years compressed in 3 minutes, Anthony.
That's pretty amazing job of doing that. So, you know, you've talked a lot about a lot of different pieces. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, college president's role in terms of financial management and what it looks like at your campus?
Sure. Certainly, the finances are key. One important aspect is how we maximize the limited funds that are assigned to us to manage, and not only bring you know, it's not like, you know, we are assigned $1 and we bring two, right? That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is that we maximize the delivery of what you can do with those funds, right? Student services, faculty support, making sure that we are progressing the agenda of the college, the agenda that the college has put in motion. So for me, is that aspect. I am part of a system that works collaboratively, right, to develop the budget. So I am part of the cabinet of the chancellor, okay? And, you know, the needs come to the table, we present those needs, but we also think in the best way possible how we can align those needs. Be mindful that, you know, 97%, 99% of the budget is fixed. There is only a very, very small amount that is, you know, new, if you will, because of the way we receive funding based on property taxes. But my role is to present strategies and help all of us arrive to the right decision on funding and finances. The aspect for my campus is that we are the smallest campus, if you will, space-wise, and maybe what people-wise, if you will, but we are the second largest in the number of contact hours we bring to the college. We are over 1.2 million contact hours, and that is the reimbursement from the state. Okay, right. So there is an element of revenue that, while it's not the focus, is important. You know, we are not on the red. We are not, you know, losing endeavor, if you will. So that aspect is what I can say along those lines, and certainly how we can maneuver through the challenges that at times come when we need to pay attention to the economy, right? And then maybe review again what we have been doing for us.
So based on that, in terms of maybe academic program portfolios, you know, you talked about adding programs. How do you figure out what programs to add? And then also, do you have any engagement with community stakeholders that influence any of that, whether that's employers or schools or anything like that?
Yes, well, a couple of things. We use data from the Department of Labor, okay, Texas, and the nation as well, national data, to kind of forecast a little bit, okay, because, you know, it says the number of jobs in, you know, hospitality, I'm just making this up as an area, right, that is forecasted for the next 5 years, right? The number of jobs in IT, in healthcare, those type of things. And that gives you a glimpse of maybe how things could be. And it also gives you an idea of the specialty in where, you know, those areas or that those areas are requiring, which then can be translated with your faculty and subject matter experts into programs. It could be, you know, traditional programs that are now made available online, number one. Number two, more specific versions of programs that exist online. Let me just give you an example. So there is business, business administration, you have the associates on that, but also for us, we have been interested in international business, right? Because in our case is the DFW airport, right? And the free trade zone that exists, right? And the Alliance Airport, right? And all that is no longer local. So to what extent there is the need for professionals with that knowledge, and the data is providing us, again, a peek to the future. So that's one example. The other example is marketing. We have marketing, the traditional, a degree in marketing, which is under business, right? So you have business, marketing, social media marketing, right? Because of the growth and because of the way people are choosing to communicate. So those are examples there. The other source is advisory panels that the college has built through years, and those advisory panels, advisory committees, are focused on the specific subjects. So you have groups for healthcare, for nursing, for accounting, for business, for engineering, for aviation, for the different subjects that the college delivers program, and they are comprised of people that are in the industry. So they are much more closer than us on the field, right? And they, come back with information about trends, and we should do this when we want to focus on these other aspects. So that's the way we have been able to do some of the programming, and it has been resulting in programs that students are attending, right? And that is in the area of associates, but also certificates. The associates is in 60, credits, as you know, right? And in online, we are doing that in accelerated mode as well. The certificates are between 15 and 30 credits, depending how you do it, and they are stackable. So you do one and then build on top of that. Again, allowing the students to join the workforce as quickly as possible, because there is a need. Is not for today. It's for 3 months ago, where we need the people.
Well, it sounds like, you're doing a really good job of trying to keep up with, where the workforce is going, and then using that to inform what you're doing in the classroom. Could you talk a little more about your structure and how you're set up in terms? I know a lot of colleges, community colleges, will have like a vice president of academic affairs and someone student affairs. How are you all set up?
Right. I am almost traditional at this moment, and let me elaborate. I have the structure of a vice president of academic affairs, and everything else is under that area, right? Traditionally, and I say almost, is you have the bifurcation of the academic affairs and then student affairs, right? So right now we have academic affairs where there is instructional design, the deans, the directors, the faculty, the weekend college, all the administration occurs through that, right? What the college recently approved is a vice president of student affairs for us. Even the student affairs portion was under academic affairs, simply because the way the campus was built. More recently, as I said, we have been approved for a vice president of student affairs, which we are, is posted at this moment. But before that, a few months ago, and this is maybe March, February type of situation, the college embarked on a strategy of then providing us with a more direct support on that area or leadership by combining two campuses in terms of the administrative structure. So the student affairs vice president for the campus that is adjacent to us here, the Trinity River campus, that person oversees student services face-to-face, and also online. And that is because of the need we have, right? And the mandates we are receiving. That has been working well, but at the same time, the amount of work and the immediacy and all these things have led to then an understanding and an approval for a dedicated VP of Student Affairs, and that person will have, the whole set of student services that is under academic affairs will move to that side along those lines. The difference for us is that we have a dedicated group of instructional designers, which are core to what we do in distance learning, e-learning, right? Those are the consultants, as I mentioned. They do faculty training, they do the course development, they sit down with faculty members along those lines to ensure that the content is valid for what we do in online. So in a nutshell, that is what I can say about that structure. And again, budgets are aligned that way, professional development is aligned in that way. It's about regular, and that's the term that I prefer to use. Regular staff is about 70, maybe 80 people. Okay, but the totality of the human resource that works for this campus is 500.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you fit into the larger structure within the district. I know the district has an overall strategy. I know they talked about one college and kind of could you talk a little bit about the components of that strategy and where you fit as the strategy leader for one of those areas?
Sure. The college has the three goals and 8 principles. 3 goals, one college, be student ready and serve the community. And then there are 8 principles that they range from the student experience, the integrated student process, learning commons, developing the faculty, developing the infrastructure. And in one of those, or for one of those, I am the champion. Champion is the lead person under that topic, and mine is workspace environment. So in a nutshell, that is responsible for redesigning the workspaces, the physical and the digital workspaces, and how we can start working in new ways, because not only that is the trend, but it's also because we need to model that to our students, right, as they transition from college to then the workforce. My role in the entire process is twofold, right? I'm the campus president with responsibilities for the campus, the enrollment, the customer service, making sure students graduate and progress. And the 3GAP requires of me to operate as one college and to always have the students as the center, but that I need to create, along with other colleagues, conditions for the college to be student ready, rather than the students be ready for college, that we are ready for the students. And in a nutshell, is processes, making sure that these elements that sometimes are perceived as barriers, I don't know, like 20 papers that you need to complete, and your applications and your documents, and so streamline processes, right? Payments, services, making sure that we are more aligned with the needs of the student. So again, we are ready for them, right? And I do that in 2 ways: through the campus and also through the workspace environment assignment that I have to be the champion.
I think that concept of being student ready, I mean, it's obviously important in the community college context because most of them are open access.
Right.
But I think for all of us that work in higher education, I think that's something that we need to start thinking about. What are the things that we do, processes, systems that are barriers for students to complete or, to even start. So as we conclude, going forward, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges and opportunities ahead for community colleges?
Well, certainly how we continue to be relevant to the citizens. There is an economy that is very interesting, with wages that are very high and sometimes doesn't require a degree. okay? But on the contrary to that, the data and recent data says and support that individuals with higher education credentials can weather the swings of economy better, right? So, you know, everybody, I guess, have to assign proper value to that. Also, the fastest way, or one of the fastest ways in which the citizens advance and progress as individuals in socioeconomic mobility is through higher education, and the fastest also, or the closest, is the community college. So that aspect is key, and it is our role to continue to educate the citizens and stakeholders on the value, on the benefits, on the effort, and it's much more than, you know, we are known because we show up on everybody's tax bill, you know, but at the same time, it is the value proposition, you know, it's how students are completing college or an education or attaining a credential with low debt or no debt at all. Okay, which is, you know, that's maybe another interview, right? Another conversation, because it's a very dense topic. So those are opportunities and areas in which we as community college are working, but of course we need to do more along those lines for everybody to benefit from higher education.
Outstanding. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Morales. We are so honored and privileged to have you as a guest today. And thank you all for joining us today. And we'll see you on another episode of our Tarleton Online Community College Leadership Interview Series. Thank you so much, Dr. Morales.
Thank you, Dr. Edwards, for the opportunity.